There's this group actually called the 12 Tribes. This religious cult. It's nationwide, but they had one of their compounds in Palm Beach County, which is where I was at the time. So, as some of you may know, I'm an all-around artist. I shoot music videos, make performance photography, direct visuals, even shoot, produce, and star in my own films. But sometimes all that doesn't really pay the bills. So a couple years ago, I got a job working for a hurricane impact windows company. I was a field marketer, which meant basically I would have to go door to door and try to get people to sign up for a consultation so they could come in and sell them the windows and doors. So how it would work is there was like maybe 4 to 6 of us on a team, and they would go and drop us off in the field, which was basically like a random neighborhood, and we'd have to go to each house and try to get them to sign up. So one day I was, doing my thing. I was in the field, and I got to this one house. This guy was working in his garage, and I go to talk to him, and he's actually really nice. He's talking to me, and which is a little surprising because in this job we deal with a lot of assholes. I mean, I've been cussed out, I've been threatened, I got the police called on me multiple times. Walking around, someone like my complexion, some people might get a little comfortable with me walking around in the neighborhood. So it was refreshing, talking to this old white man who was, actually engaging with me, listening to what I had to say. He went and got his wife, he's like, honey, this man is talking about, our windows, we could fix the sliding glass door in the back. And I'm just sitting there, I'm writing down all their information. I'm like, okay. And I'm smelling the money because this could potentially be a big sale. And as soon as I'm about to put them on the phone to make an appointment, and then he just asked me this question. He goes, "Are you a blessed man?" And I was like, damn. Because I was this close. I was this close to signing them up. And I could kind of see where this was about to go. But I tried to bring it back. I was like, as long as I got a roof over my head, I'm blessed. Now, what did you guys say was a good time for the appointment? But he was not having it. He just kept going. He was like, in the Bible it says that Jesus is our Savior. Are you ready to let him into your heart and allow the power of God to raise your spirit? And in my head, I'm like, man, he really got my ass. Like, he set me up. But I was already there for so much time talking to this couple. I was thinking, maybe if I let him say his piece, then I could bring the conversation back into my control. But man, I was dead wrong. He kept going, and I noticed that his wife went back in the house. So she came back out, and she was holding these little paper booklets, and then she hands it to the husband, and then they start reading it, and they both look up at me, and they say, "Will you say this prayer with us?" And at that point, I was like, I already knew the lead was dead. There was no saving it. So I just hit them with the, I was like, you guys go ahead. I gotta get back to work. Sorry. And I start walking down the driveway. The lady runs out in front of me, and she puts the book in my hand, and she goes, "Please just read this one passage right here. It'll only take a minute." And I'm looking at the paper. Something in my mind just told me, do not read these words. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't say anything. And she just started getting visibly upset, and she started begging me to read this passage with her. She was like, "Please just read this one verse right here. These words. Just read these words with us. We need to say this prayer." And it just reminded me of the scene in the movie Hereditary where the mom was trying to get the family to do the seance, or to get the dad to burn the book.
Please throw it in the fire. Please. Please take it. Please, you gotta do it. Please, you gotta do it. Please. Okay.
It was that same energy. So I could see this pain in her eyes, trying to get me to read this thing. And for some reason, I don't know why, I could not move. I could not walk away. I was frozen. And I tried, saying like, "Okay, I'll be right back." She was like, "No, you're not coming back. You're lying. You need to read this passage." And she's going off at me at that point, and I'm just like frozen. I didn't know what to do. And then out of nowhere, my homeboy, one of my old coworkers, Ty, he happens to be on that street walking by, and he sees me like in distress, I guess. And he pulls up, and he like grabs me by the arm and starts walking away with me. And he's like, "All right, folks, have a good day." And I'm just walking away now. I don't know. I couldn't look back at the house. I couldn't even process what just happened. It just felt so eerie to me. It was such a creepy feeling looking in that lady's eyes and having her beg me to read this passage, you know? All right, so the reasons why I think that they were cult members as opposed to just religious people is, one, they were extremely nice to me in the beginning, but then when I wasn't giving them what they wanted, they got very upset, or the wife did specifically, which goes into my next point. The wife was freaking out. She was very upset, but the husband, the whole time, he was just dead serious. His face was giving no emotion. So it kind of gave me the vibe that like she was doing this for his approval. She needed to do something to prove that she could get me on board. So there was definitely some like a power dynamic going on there, and also the dynamic of the two of them. I definitely was not the first person they'd done this before. Like the way that he was in the house, he got her, she went back in. They had materials, disposable paper materials for people to read already set out. That was another kind of red flag in my mind. So when I was making this video, I was curious if there's actually some well-known religious groups in Florida that they could have been a part of. And I did some research, and there's this group actually called the 12 Tribes. This religious cult, it's nationwide, but they had one of their compounds in Palm Beach County, which is where I was at the time. And some ex-members of the group told some stories about brainwashing, all this horrible stuff that they were doing inside that cult. So my theory is that this old couple at that house was members of the 12 Tribes, and because their compound got shut down, they were trying to recruit people just out of their house or wherever they were, whoever they can get their hands on. So it makes me really glad that I didn't go along with what they wanted me to do, and thankful for my homeboy Ty for helping me get out of that situation. I had a lot of interesting experiences at that job, but few were as creepy as the time I almost got kidnapped by religious cult members.